Hi all, my name's Steve. I used to be a high school math teacher, and back in around 2000, I started teaching, and I was taught at the high school here for about 7 years. And every spring, the kids would come back and after spring break, and a group of them would always be talking about this amazing experience they had down in Mexico, building houses. And it was a time in my life where I wanted to do more service work. I was interested in doing some mission. I felt a bit of a gap around my faith, and I wanted to explore that more. And so one of the kids in my class suggested that I try going to Mexico, and I did. And to say that was pivotal for me is really an understatement. I have since been on about 25 house builds in Mexico, in both West Tijuana and East Tijuana. But more significantly for me personally, it was a gateway to decades of involvement with MIPC, including youth ministry. I served on personnel, I served a term on session, and I learned a lot about the role of faith in my life, and I really came to understand that I really have a desire to have service be a core part of my life. During the pandemic, our house building mission really came to a halt for about 3 years. And in partnership with Lindsay, we started the trips up again about 3 years ago as an intergenerational trip, so they're not focused just on students like we had been in the past, but really anyone from sophomore in high school through as old as you can be and go on a house building trip. And over the past 2 years, I've served on the board with Lindsay of DOXA, and also Jen McClellan is going to be joining our board in January, which will give us some depth in education, and education is a core part of the DOXA mission. I have this really old picture here to show you. This was one of my first house building trips. I think this was from 2004, and all the way over to the left is me, and my arm is around someone that you may recognize. His name is Alex Nopes. And Alex was a child of the MIPC community and grew up on the island, went to high school here, and he was on my second house building trip. And currently he's the director of DOXA. So he is the person that is on the ground in San Diego running the work that we do in Tijuana. He looks a little different today. He looks a bit older. This was probably about 25 years ago. So I think this community is familiar with DOXA from a house building perspective, but I'd like to let you know that DOXA's mission extends well beyond house building. The mission has 3 key components which we think of as sequential. So first, house building provides a safe and secure a home for families. And for some of the families that we build for, their families have never had a place where they can go inside and have a roof that protects them from the elements and have a door with a lock so that they can feel secure at night. And for many people, this change is really profound. Once the fundamental need for housing security is met, we focus on education support. And DOXA does this through local scholarships, tutoring, and after-school programs for students. Then we build upon that with long-term community development. And this is what we view as really key to driving long-lasting positive change. When you have house building, education support, and community development together, they lead to strengthening of the social fabric in a neighborhood. And we believe this results in an improvement in the neighborhood's material, emotional, spiritual, and socioeconomic well-being. And this is what DOXA is about. We've done a good job with house building and education support, and we've done the best we can with existing facilities around community development. But this is an area that will really benefit by having a dedicated space, and that's why we're raising money to build a community center. The community center will be done in 3 phases over the next few years, and I'm not going to go into detail about it, but if anybody's interested in more detail, I'm happy to talk about it. But for me, the bottom line is that a community center will support DOXA's mission by providing a safe space for learning and growth. It fosters a sense of community and belonging. It encourages collaboration and mutual support. Before I leave you, I want to tell you a quick story about a house build we did in 2024. And this house is about 30% done. You can see it has an amazing view of East Tijuana. And during the entire build, we were joined by the mom, Ruby, and her daughter, Jamie. Jamie was about the most adorable thing I've ever seen walk onto a building site. She was there all week. She's a kindergartner. And her parents and teacher decided that she was going to miss school that week so that she could be on site with us while we built. As a former educator, I'm almost never in favor of kids missing school. However, they really wanted Jamie to see what it's like to serve other people, and they wanted her to be there in community with us while we were building a house for them, and they really want Jamie to be raised with service as a core value. Later in the week, one of our high school students, Joy, had her 16th birthday while we were building. And we mentioned this to the family at the end of one of our days of building. And the next day we came to their house, and this is what we were met with. So this is a house that's about halfway done at this point, and they had found a table, I don't know where, in this area. They put a tablecloth on it, they had some party favors, they got some cupcakes. Jamie put on this cool little costume. They had one of our pieces of siding, and they got a bulldozer to put on it, and they basically helped us celebrate Joy and helped us celebrate her birthday. And this was really touching to all of us because we were there serving them the best that we could, and they were serving us to the best of their ability as well. And it was a really powerful day for us. So in December, one thing I want to let you know about is that DOXA's board and friends of the board have put up $80,000 that they're using in a matching campaign. So any donation that is done through Gifts of the Heart will be matched up to $80,000, so that your donation will have twice the impact. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for letting me tell you a bit about DOXA. We appreciate the support of Gifts of the Heart, and I just want to leave you with what I truly believe is that DOXA is really doing good work in Tijuana and making a significant difference, and we appreciate the support of this community. Lindsay?